Okay, so episode 6. Today I'm going to talk about features, why I think that sometimes they are useful, and why I think sometimes they're not useful. So really, like, with features, when I'm listening to music, I tend to, and everyone listens differently, but I tend to be a listener where when I'm listening, when I'm in the mood for one artist, I just want to listen to them. I don't really want to listen to, a little bit of a feature of some other artist when I'm not in the mood to listen to that artist. That's just me. Some people love features. Obviously, a lot of artists love features. So it's just my opinion, but that's just how I feel about it. But I think there are ways that, like if you kind of want it to be like an extra form of income, then I think you offering features, you're offering to do features on other people's songs that are kind of irrelevant to you, like you're making money and you're practicing. So I think that's a good thing. But I think when you're focusing on your work, I think it's not really, I don't think you should do that as much. And really the reason is just because, especially when you're like a smaller artist, you want to have ample time to talk about yourself, like to talk about your own lyrics, like sing, have your own, you want to have, like, say the project is like 50 minutes and then you had like 5 features. Okay, now it's like not quite 50 minutes anymore because it's not you the whole time, versus if it's like a project with no features, now it's like you're the whole 50 minutes, and if someone's in the mood for you, they're going to be able to listen to you. And I think, and this is not always the case, but this is how I feel about features. If you're concerned with like duration of how long someone's listening to your song, I can tell you that there's a lot of people that are not going to be interested in a feature, and so they may listen to your song until that featured artist comes on, and then they're going to skip. So if you're worried about that, then that's something to think about. But really, like, I think it's just seeing the difference between, like, okay, I want to make some extra money, I want to do features, I can, people are liking me, I have some sort of a buzz. That's super cool. But I think if you're like making a project and you want to have a feature on like so many songs, I just don't think that's like great, because I know personally, I'm definitely not going to focus on the featured songs unless it's an artist that I know. And then secondly, it's taken away from you because now it has someone else on the song. Now, if you're concerned with like, oh, I want to get this poppin' artist because if he's on my song, then like more people are going to tune in. I don't think that's always true, because I think, especially like, I don't know, features for me are just something that I don't prefer. And a lot of it comes down to like the voice. It's like, okay, say you have an artist where it's like they're very melodic, right? And they're very like, they're very lyrical, they're very like soulful. And then say you put like some like hardcore rapper on it that's just not very lyrical, it's just gonna ruin the song. And like, I think that features ruin a lot of songs. I think there's a lot of really good songs out there that are just ruined by a feature. I'd love to just hear it with that artist and not with the other artist. So that's something to consider, like when you're seeking out features. Like, say, okay, I'm gonna pay $300 to get a feature from this artist because I think he's gonna help me, and I think that's gonna give me a lot more exposure. Like, okay, cool, but I think you need to research more than just, oh, I like him. Because here's the thing, like, okay, say you pay say you pay $1,000 and you get a feature, or you have them feature on your song, and then you put it out and you're super excited for it. Guess what? Like, their fans are gonna listen to it, and if you don't really, first off, like, I think the biggest thing why not to pay for a feature early on, you want to make sure like you're good enough, because if you invest that money too early, and then, because the thing about a feature is like, it seems like a cool idea, but then like really when you think about it, okay, like someone's gonna listen to that song that you're on, and like they're gonna hear your voice, and then if they don't like your voice, they're gonna skip. So, or they're already not gonna like, what you have to offer. So really, like, be smart about that and like do a little research. Like say that you have a similar sound of an artist that like you can afford their feature and you've hit them up or whatever, and they want to do, you know, they're like, okay, X amount of money, $1,000 feature, and you have a similar voice, like say, or a similar style, maybe not voice, but style, let's say that. So you have a similar style. I think that gives you a better shot at potentially gaining some of their fans. But I think if you're just a totally different style of artist, that's not really going to help you at all. So I really wouldn't, I would do more research. I wouldn't just say, oh, well, I like that artist, I want a feature from him, or, oh, the feature's available and he has a lot of followers. I don't think you should do that. Now, I really do think if you do, like I can think of like my artist Peso, like he has a friend Kells, and they really sound good together on songs, and they have a lot of songs out, or not all out, but they have a lot of songs together. So that's like, when you can have like two artists that sound great together, that's a really cool thing, because now you really can share fans and you can share songs and everything. So I think that's really cool. But I've really rarely seen two people that really like work really great together on a song. Now there are, like, of course there are, and especially like, you know, people that are in a group, you know, people that can play off each other really well. And I think another thing is like what's getting so, and I mean, I don't know, maybe it was popular before, but I definitely notice it getting popular now, is two artists, whether they're in a group, usually they're in a group, but not always, where it's like, it's not, you know, verse, hook, verse, it's, they share a verse, you know, so it's like they do a couple lines, the other artist does a couple lines, and I think that's like super cool. Like I actually really like that, and I think that's like, if you can do that with somebody, then that's like super cool. But I think then you really need to have a similar style, because that can go wrong quickly as well. But I think that it can also be cool. So I would definitely think about that if you do have artists that's like that. But I wouldn't jump into features. I wouldn't worry about features either. I would just worry about your own music. If you want to make some side money, I would really suggest that you you know, put out your price, like whether you put it on Instagram, or if people ask you, you know, they like want your rate or whatever, I would definitely, you know, I'd be into that. You know, just have a number. And as far as like, people have asked me like, how much do I charge? I think the biggest thing is charge what you can get. But I think have like different prices, like, okay, you know, X amount for, you know, a verse, X amount for a hook, X amount for both. And then if, you know, you can do like a video offer, like you can be like, you know, a verse and I can be in your music video, and then you can do the terms of that. And I would say like, if it's local, then, you know, you'll do it for the price, and then if it's out of town, then they have to pay for your accommodations, you know. So I think that's like, that's what you should probably be doing. Like I know some artists that, I mean, they're on Instagram every day, like pushing for features, you know, they like, oh, $500 feature, $300 feature today. So it's definitely like a good income if you have people that like your music and they see that you have some sort of fan base, that kind of thing. So I would look at that. But I just think as far as your own music, I really wouldn't focus too much on it, because I don't really see, I don't know. I mean, I think if you want to go that route and you want to be like, well, I'm going to get a bunch of features so that more people are going to listen to my music, if it works for you, cool. But personally, I don't really think that's the way to go. I think really what you should be doing is you should be focused, especially like the mixtapes that I was talking about, is like these mixtapes, it should just be you. Like, you know, I think that, because I think, in my opinion, for like a project, you want it to be as smooth as possible. I look at artists like Bryson Tiller. I think he is like super consistent. Like I can listen to all of his albums, and he only has what, 2 or 3, but I can listen to all of his albums, and from the first song to the last song, it's like, it's smooth. So it's like you could be in a bad mood and you could listen to the entire song and you'll feel better because it's like obviously therapeutic. But like, what makes me like certain albums and what honestly makes me rank them high is because you don't want to have like, and like all artists are going to think differently on this, but the way I feel is like, okay, you make a project, it needs to be consistent. I need to be able to listen to every single song, and it's not like, okay, one song is like really soulful and deep, and then the next song is just like super repetitive and loud. Like, I don't like albums like that. I don't, because odds are I'm going to listen to that, you know, like sentimental song, and it's going to be like, I'm going to be really in my feelings or thinking, and then it's like this loud banger song is going to come on, and I'm probably going to skip it, like, if I'm being honest. So I think like the ideal project is to just have a style throughout. Like, obviously you're going to have some diversity, but I think it's understanding like to be very consistent and to have a like just first song, second song to the last song, you can listen to each one and you're not going to skip. And I think that's the whole point of a project. And I think to tie that into features, I think that when you have too many features, that throws it off too, because you could listen to a song where you're like, man, I really like this artist's voice, and then the feature comes in and it's like, this sounds ridiculous, you know? So I think it's just something to think about, but that's honestly my opinion about features. I think if you're gonna do them and you want to make some money, that's awesome, but at the same time, I don't think you should push it too much.